What's up, everybody? Flashwing here. I almost feel like I need to stop telling you who I am. I mean, I figured by now, if you're on this channel watching my vlogs, you probably know who this is. I'm very, very sorry about the lack of posts. I feel like I'm apologizing a lot these days, but you guys take the time to come here and make me part of your YouTube experience, and so I definitely feel like I owe it to you guys to let you know that I am not, I do not, the fact that the videos tend to have a longer time span between two of them, it does not go unnoticed, so I do apologize for that. Hopefully I can satisfy your appetite a little bit today. Oh, not gonna make it. I could, but it'd be ugly. First, I want to make sure, especially those of you who are hardcore subscribers, I'm just going to put this out there for you guys to put your minds at ease. We've had discussions in the past through the comments section about people being worried about me quitting, and, you know, they get worried when there's a lot of time between vlogs. I want to make this commitment to you. If I am going to quit YouTube, I will tell you. I will tell you that I'm going to quit YouTube if I decide to ever quit YouTube. I may not be able to get videos out as often as I'd like, but just rest assured that unless you hear it from me, assume that a video will come again sometime in the future. I mean, it could be a week, it could be a month, but just know that if I'm going to quit YouTube, you're going to hear it from me. I would never disrespect you guys by just simply up and leaving. It's been a little busy. Oh yes, I almost forgot. I have a special request from my boss, Jeff. Hello, Jeff. So good to see you watching today. Not that I've made a habit of talking about my job in the past, but there's been a lot of changes going on in my job, and I've been trying to focus on those. I feel like they've been positive, and but it's occupied a little bit more of my focus than it has in the past. Things in my personal life have been taking up some time, spending more time with the girlfriend, and we're talking about getting a place together come January of this year. So that's been occupying my time as well, and just the logistics of trying to move in with somebody and work everything out. I've pretty much, with the exception of a single year, I've lived by myself since I moved out to Phoenix 10 years ago. So it's a big change for me to integrate myself with somebody else and move in together. So there's a lot going on with that. I've been preoccupied in a number of different areas, and none of them have really been conducive to having a good vlog format. And whenever I get on this camera and I'm going to talk to you guys, I want to talk about something that's meaningful and that's interesting, or at least it's interesting to me, and that you know, I want you to get something out of this vlog other than just sort of wasting time. I've been preoccupied a lot by the election that's going on here in the United States. I'm a big news and political junkie, as many of you know, and so I've been talking a lot about the election. I'm also, I'll put this out here too, back in August, I became a backer of Star Citizen, and if you're not aware of what Star Citizen is, it is a PC-based video game that is basically it is the space game that I have always wanted. It's made by the same guy, Chris Roberts, who did the Wing Commander series, and I played all the Wing Commander games when I was a kid, and so I became a backer of that game, and I have been following it very heavily. So, you know, I've been wanting to talk about a lot of Star Citizen stuff, and not all of it just from a video game perspective, but like a technology perspective, and so on and so forth. So there's just been a lot of stuff that's on the brain that is not, in my opinion, something that I think would be very interesting to a lot of other people, especially those of you who are subscribed to my vlog. So I'll get into today's topic today as briefly as I can. The one thing that I'll talk about with respect to this election, because I feel it is a universal topic, it is something that both political parties and a variety of different political positions can get behind, and that is that we are creating a trap for ourselves from a character perspective that I feel is going to be very, very difficult to get out of. Essentially, this election is not about who you're voting for, it's about who you're voting against. And both political parties, both the Republican and the Democrat Party, have created this narrative behind their own candidates that very simply is, vote for our party because we are not the other party. Now, this is nothing new. You know, we've had elections, especially from the Republican standpoint, for a long time, of, well, okay, our candidate isn't great, but they're not a Democrat, so you should vote for us. So this is nothing new. It has been prevalent, but I don't feel like, at least in my lifetime, it's been this prevalent. And by that I mean when the candidates themselves are so flawed, when they're surrounded in scandal, and their character is of such poor quality. Candidates that in any other election would have been completely drummed out of the process very, very early on are now the only real viable choices that we have for president. And the trap that we're going to get ourselves into is, no matter who is elected and no matter what they do, no matter how bad it might be, the party that wins will always be using the line of, well, at least they're not the other guy. You know, if we're the Republicans and they elect Trump, no matter what Trump does from a negative standpoint, the Republicans will always say, well, at least he wasn't Hillary, because we know a Hillary presidency would have been worse. Likewise, same thing for the Democrats. If Hillary is elected president, no matter how awful she might be, the Democrats will always maintain, well, it'd have been way worse under a Trump presidency. And so this is it's a trap where leadership can no longer be held accountable. But character matters, guys. Character matters so much. I know that during the Bill Clinton presidency that the notion was, well, you know, it doesn't matter what he does in his private life as long as he's good at his job. And folks, I'm here to tell you that being a president is not like being a business owner, in the sense that you could be a really shitty person but be a good business guy. The character is all that matters. Character is all that matters. That if you are not a person of sound character, you're not going to make sound judgments. You're not going to, and as president, you're making judgments about everything. Everything. You're making decisions literally about who lives and who dies. The presidency has so much power now that it shouldn't have, but character is everything. It absolutely matters what kind of a person you are in your private life, because that determines the kind of person you're going to be in your public life. The reason why things are so bad in many circumstances is because we have people in office that have very poor character. They're liars, they're cheaters. These are people of very little moral or ethical integrity. And then we sit around and pontificate about why things are so bad, when the truth of the matter is they're bad because we're putting awful people in positions of leadership and then not holding them accountable because, well, they're not as bad as the other guy. All right, we're going to do a magic trick. We're going to do a magic trick here. We're going to go from daytime to nighttime, and I'm just going to skip my workout, and it's going to be glorious. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Whoa! I don't think that worked. Well, it's a little darker outside, but we gained a Harley. You know, this magic is really imperfect, but it'd be kind of cool, I guess, every time I snap my fingers that a Harley Davidson would appear. I would just sell them off all the time and make money that way. But the problem is that politics does not inherently attract people of good character. And The founders of the United States knew this, as did the framers of the Constitution in particular knew this. They knew that men of good character are not necessarily attracted, here we go, they're not necessarily attracted to power and control. The best people for the job are not attracted to the very positions that we need them in. My question to you, and this may be rhetorical, it's not something you have to answer to me, but I think you should answer it. You owe an answer to yourself. No matter who you support, whether you are a Hillary supporter or a Donald Trump supporter, ask yourself this question: what would this candidate have to do for me to not support them anymore? What would they have to do? What crime would they have to commit? What would they have to do? How bad would they have to be? And I think it's important to set boundaries for yourself, because it's entirely possible that one of these candidates could violate the law in some significant way, could do something that is incredibly deplorable. Not to say that some of these candidates haven't done so already, but I think it's important that we all ask ourselves, what's our breaking point? Where do our moral and ethical boundaries exist, where we say, you know, I'm a Democrat, but I just can't support this, or I'm a Republican, but I just can't support this? Where are your moral and ethical boundaries? Because, folks, it's very possible that they might be breached. They might already be breached. I mean, and I think as a country, we have to accept the reality of what this election signifies, which is very simply that as long as we continue to nominate and elect candidates of poor character, we're going to continue to see candidates of poor character seeking political office in a major way, until we send the message that men and women of poor character will not be welcomed in the U.S. government or in the state governments. You're going to continue to see them pour in record numbers.